Alright, and we should be live. Hello everybody, Josh Brony here with a bit of an unusual stream. As you can read by the title, yes, today is the memorial for September 11th. So before we start, let's pause for a moment of silence to honor those who gave their lives. Alright, now that we have honored our victims. Hey Joe, Sparkle, Tank Engine. Yeah, this is a September 11th memorial stream and my 1-year anniversary of uploading content onto YouTube. Well, technically 1 day early. Hello, Louise. You may join if you want to, but yeah. I've sort of alluded to some of these builds when I did my United States and Germany flag tutorial. And quick notice, practically 0 of these builds belong to me. All these belong, 99% of these builds belong to the man Crafty Fox. He is the one who originally created the builds. So shout out to you, Crafty, for all of these. First off, the flags. We have the United States flag, Germany, Russia. We have France, Britain, Irish, and Italy. We have, right here is Normandy, and I think this is supposed to be like Spain or something. Hold on, let me check the stream real quick. But yeah, apologies if the stream is... Hold on. Alright, OBS is still recording. Consider turning down video settings or use the faster encoding. Let's see here. I don't exactly know what's going on. 1 second, guys. Louise, you might be disconnected from this. It's working. But yeah, let's get on to some of the other builds, shall we? Alright, so right here we have a sort of area for a siren tech. So I can set off the sirens here. Here we have my attempt at a Federal Signal Thunderbolt 1000T. I know it doesn't look all that great, and I will admit it is kind of trashy a little bit, but this really isn't that great. Same here. I tried to make a 2001 130, considering these are all around my city area, but I don't know why. I just have terrible building skills, unlike Crafty. And here we actually have my first no weather radio, the WR120. Let me bug the screen a little bit. And widget. OBS says it's working fine. But yeah, try to follow along as I take a look at all the builds here. But yeah, here's my WR120. This should say same digital weather all hazards alert radio. This is the NOAA logo, and I think that's supposed to be the public alert. Here's the speaker. Oh my, with like those little holes in it. Here's the bases. Here's the up, down, left, right. Menu, select up, down. I know this is going to be quite a long stream, so hope you guys enjoy. The speaker's fine. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going good. We are doing a live stream. So, right now I'm going down all the list. Got our watch light here, and then advisory, and then bless you. Where the light blue concrete is, this is where the message. This is where the backlight is, and the message will show up with these polished black buttons. This little button right here is supposed to be the Midland logo, and then this is supposed to be like the antenna. But yeah, I've already covered the flags, the 2 tornado sirens, and the NOAA weather radio. And also in here is where I can make the noise to activate the radio for alerts. But with that out of the way, let's get on to Crafty Fox build, shall we? Alright, so right here is my first custom build. You can see how garbage it is. It's supposed to be Pennsylvania Nor'easter 5342, but it's kind of garbage. And then in here we have NS/P Pennsylvania Nor'eastern 8212, which is so far the last C-39-8 alive in the United States. Now here, down below, is actually a little bit of a secret. That is supposed to be the closing chime for the Long Island Railroad M7. Where are you at, Louise?
I'm trying to build some stuff. Hi.
Right, go.
I will go with that. Perfect.
There you are.
These guys here.
But yeah, what? I'm not exactly sure. Spain! I thought this was supposed to be Spain.
It is Spain.
Yeah. I'll let you work on the flags while I show the viewers the rest of the builds. Yeah, some of these builds are older builds.
The flag.
Like this M7 right here. Crafty made a new tutorial on the M7, and I encourage you watch it so you can figure. I mean, it's I mean, this build is so old. It actually has anvils. Most of these builds have anvils. Which, yeah, I made a little. Most of these builds, I made a few changes so I can like add in a doorway so I can enter in and exit. I did that with practically most of my builds. Right here is my underwater house. I don't know why I decided to make it underwater, but he is my little foxies, because I love foxes. I mean, my persona is a fox. What would you expect, to be honest?
It's a fox? I thought it was a pony.
Well, I do have a pony sona and a fursona. It's a little complicated.
Yes, it is.
And then we have some locomotive horns here. We have the Wabco AA2. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't exactly remember what these are used on, but most of these builds, practically all the builds from here on out are Crafty Fox based, so you can check them out by going to his channel, Crafty Fox / Foxyard. Here is a Leslie S2M. Based on the Silverliner 4s, and then the most common type, the K5LA. Featured on most American locomotives. And right here we have the old Silverliner 4 with a bunch of passengers in it. Nothing interesting over here. Ah, yes, the first build I ever did, the Polar Express coaches. Yeah, the original first build for the Polar Express used wool, but I replaced it with concrete. But as you can see, nope.
You really have to use mine when you could have used your own?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, this build was so old it actually used wool, but I changed it to concrete to make it look semi-modern. I think it looked pretty good. But yeah, here is the rear coach, and it's supposed to be some of the passengers. Oh, anyways, these were my first build I ever did around Christmas 2020. Here we got another old build, the Polar Express, aka Pierre Marquette 1225. I added in the crew so we can have some crew members on the locomotive. And then a little secret was the main character who ends up in the tender of the locomotive at one point. Yeah, we're going to attempt to get through as many of these builds as possible in this one stream alone. So, we're already at the 13, we're already at almost the 14-minute mark. We're going to be here for a couple hours. Anyways, here we got an ATS 64, which do not run in Indianapolis. These really only run in the Northeast Coast. But it's a little sad that Indianapolis doesn't really have use electric trains like at all. But it's okay, because we see these a lot. These are the old P-42 Genesis. I have a more modern one when we review 156, but nothing really special about the back. Another set of old builds. We have the EMD F7 A and B units, both from Santa Fe. Both of them have like not much interest in them. But maybe alright, can't move, but put it there. There we go, problem solved. Button. Yeah, this is another older build based on Crafty. And here we get to the AWVR set. And here we have Thomas in between 1206 and 7375. I was gonna do another one of these, but I didn't have enough time to make another one. Plus, they're practically the same. Unlike AWVR 777 and 767, which are a little bit different from each other. Yeah, this is another one of Crafty's old tutorials. And inside 767, I put throttle notch 8, emergency brakes, and dynamic brakes. Says a little something interesting. Here we have 767s. There's like nothing in it, not much worth in it. And 1206, that is the crew of 1206. We're gonna get to this in a minute. But here we have 7375/7346. Unfortunately, this locomotive was sacrificed in the movie, and it sadly did not make it through the movie. But it's okay because 1206 managed to stop the runaway. We're gonna get to the Thomas and Friends characters in a little bit, so here's something worth interesting talking about. Burlington Northern cabooses. These used to be common around the 70s and 80s, but you don't really see cabooses anymore. As I talk about that and run into the Fox. Yeah, it's supposed to be the organic Fox. I messed up a lot on this build, and it's one of those I am going to redo eventually in the future. So still gonna have the wool on it, but it's just gonna be rebuilt. But anyways, here we have a Conrail E33, one of the rarest locomotives I've ever heard. As I never knew these were actually a thing. We're gonna get to the coffee pot engine a little bit, talk about the TNF characters, because I have a lot to say on that. Yeah, here's another one of those extremely old builds that he actually used a furnace, out of all things, on BNSF 1010. Yeah, you can stick your stuff in the furnace. Get both of those out since I don't want them to be cooked. Yeah, BNSF 1010, one of the oldest Crafty Fox builds ever. Here we have a Amtrak auto rack used on the auto train that runs between Sanford, Florida, and Lorton, Virginia. Correct me if I'm wrong on the locations. Here we have a Illinois Central GP 38-2. Another sort of old build, and there's actually carpet underneath, which is quite interesting. And then behind the baggage, the auto rack, we have the Violiner 2 baggage car. I think this is what it's called. With a GP40PH-2 for NJT behind the Illinois Central unit. And then let's get on. And then here is the sort of revamped ACS-64. Now, a bit of interesting history behind this one. I was about halfway through to about here when I thought, wait, this doesn't feel right. So I checked, and I realized that I felt like he was about to use world edit. So I quickly built this side as well and tried to match it evenly with the front side, which I think I did pretty good on. He mentioned that there were no I think blue buttons, but with the new update to with one of the newer updates to Minecraft, installing a bunch of Nether updates, including warped materials, I changed it up a little bit. Yeah, inside we have the PTC positive train control enabled, disabled, and head and power enabled / disabled. Back pantograph up, down, up, down. Front pantograph up, down. Keep the back one up. And the same thing on the other side, since it's symmetrical on the front and the back, kind of. Aha! So I see you're making the Brazilian flag.
Yes, I am.
But anyways, go ahead.
I don't know how I like it.
It's up to you. But now up to one of the hardest Crafty Fox builds I've done, 3194, Spirit of the Law Enforcement. This was actually one of the hardest builds I've ever done, and I'm surprised I actually managed to do it. But yeah, Zergs, it was scary of them jumping off. But anyways, 3194 is what I consider the hardest build I've ever done. And a little modification I added to it was the ditch lights. Now the actual version of 3194 doesn't have the ditch lights that you see here due to FRA, due to the fact that it had to comply with the FRA and not have them. But I added them because I wanted to add a little bit of an extra bit of detail. Alright, Heritage / Special Unit lineup. Let's go. Here we have the old version of the SD40-2 on CSX. The original one used wolves, so another old build. Flying Scotsman I'll cover when I cover the Thompson Friends characters. LBSCR E2, aka, this is what I like to call the Brown Thomas, because I made this out of brown terracotta. But I also made another Thomas, which you will see later. But anyways, here we have the SD70 Ace. I think it's supposed to be 8444. Some of these builds do contain TNT, but I have it disabled. So when I place something down next to TNT, it doesn't explode. And here we have at 406, aka the Phase 3 unit. And yes, there is an SD9 right behind it. Another one of those builds that uses wool instead of concrete. I think 406 might have used it, but I could be wrong. You can watch the original tutorial to find out. And here we have a Long Island Railroad high road truck. This is technically the first vehicle, but it still semi counts since it's a high road truck. Ah yes, two very special builds. P32-ABWH and of course the freight locomotive from one of the more popular games on the internet.
Fortnite.
Actually, no.
If I had to say
Hmm? Yeah, this freight locomotive, believe it or not, is actually from GTA 5.
can you stop the train in GTA 5?
I wish. But anyways, let's continue with some of the other builds. Here we have an AEM7. This is 915, which is at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, which is one of my vacation places to visit whenever I have the time to go out of state. Over here we have a C40-8W, which is sort of old, but also it did have the original like mess logo, but then I added it into the band, but I changed it up so the banners are on each side. Alright, 603, also at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania. Sadly, it's gotten a lot of rust due to being exposed to the elements for so long. But anyways, we'll cover the cars later, so let's move on to the special units portion. Alright, so here we have this was going to be a build, the F40PH-2 Cat. I put it on here, not based on tutorial. That's actually a little bit of a lie. It was going to be based on Crafty Foxes, but I like the front, but I decided to just like sort of do my own twist on it, which turned out quite bad and looks like this. But yeah, let's get on to 1995. Now there is a revamped version which I will show later. But this is what Crafty had at the time for 1995. And then we have 8098, the NS Conrail unit. One of my more favorite units from Heritage units for Conrail. 8102, the Penzi unit. One of my friend's Hyper's favorites, and also one of Thunder's favorite builds. Well, not builds per se, but rather heritage units. Here we have 6920, the Norfolk Southern Veterans unit. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but over there, way over there, you can just vaguely see it, but 1943 is also over there. Yeah, 1943 from Union Pacific is way over there, and we'll review that later. Here's 5642 I think this is like Operator Lifesaver Unit, Operation Lifesaver Unit for NS, but I'm not sure. Yes, CSX 911. I made a couple changes here, like, so in Bedrock you can't put buttons on stairs like that, unfortunately, so I had to get rid of one of the netherbrick slabs and place it here so I can get inside. Here we have the flags. I don't exactly know why it looks like that. Let me patch those holes. I mean, it's a bit of a minor notice, but still a bit of a notice. Yeah, right here is supposed to be a piston, but yeah. Yeah, it's CSX 911 honoring the first responders. And here we have 8099, the Southern Heritage Unit. Not the one outside the United States, but the one that was inside the US. 4001. I heard this engine, and they were planning to scrap. This one had just got involved in a wreck, and UP was thinking about scrapping 1995, so it just built both of them out of desperation. Here we have a KCS locomotive. Not really much to it, other than what KCS ended up being, which it's actually playing. As of now, I haven't checked much on it, but I heard it's going to be merged with one of the Canadian railroads, unfortunately. But continue on, we have Jersey Central. I built this sort of in honor of Dode, since he's a New Jersey fan, since he's a resident of New Jersey. Not gonna say which part of New Jersey, but regardless.
I'm a New Jersey resident.
Oh yeah, I forgot about you too, Louise. Here we also have a Florida East Coast ES44C4. Now, when I went to Florida, I never saw a Florida East Coast, but that's kind of my fault because I was in Lakeland and not somewhere like Miami where they run, but and then here we have a Pennsylvania Railroad GG1, one of the most interesting locomotives, as I numbered this one 4876 after the Federal Express runaway wreck in I think it was 1953. It was less than a week before I think before Eisenhower entered office as president. Yeah, we're gonna cover all the cars later. This was a lot. Oh yeah, here's another build. This was going to be a Union Pacific ST40-2, but I scrapped it and I haven't worked on it since then. Here we have my sort of first attempt at a World Edit which turned out terrible. This is the side that turned out good. This is the side that turned out bad. Eventually, I will redo the 844 build, but but I don't know if Bedrock has World Edit. So yeah, that's that. And here's 458, the same locomotive that was involved in the Oxnard wreck of, what, I think somewhere around 07 or 08 or something. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head. But yeah, this locomotive was involved in that wreck. Here's the improved, for some reason, floating P-42 Genesis, particularly 156, the Phase 1 Heritage build. Now, I didn't know you could put a slab, you could like put a slab down and then put a fence gate like next to it. But that's a bit of an interesting fact. But anyways, we're gonna get on to some of these builds later. I know one of my fans, Mr. MyBlocks, loves the Daylight locomotive. And we'll check that out eventually. But also from here we have the EMD E9? F9. Both from Norfolk Southern. And this is supposed to be a NS road railer train. I didn't have enough time to make extra parts of it, but it's okay. Here is a OL 915, aka an R156. Now, I was about halfway through, almost to the part where I used World Edit, when I realized I made it one block too long, so I had to restart the video and redo the whole project, but it's okay, I learned. Here we have Amtrak 4316 for the first day of Amtrak use. I know it doesn't look completely perfect, but this is the best I can do without World Edit.
See.
Hold on.
Scotty.
Yeah, here's 4316 right here. One of the more complicated builds, but yeah.
I can see one of the more complicated builds.
Yeah, but it wasn't really. 3194 took me a week to build.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I was working on it. I was working on certain pieces of it per day, which is probably why it took me so long, but I didn't want to overstress myself. But here we have a good old P36/Pooch. In Phase 2, I think? Yeah, I think this is Phase 2. Could be wrong, though. But ahead of it is a locomotive that's been given the name Railbreaker because of the fact that it literally broke the rails. But yeah, Amtrak Guy 365 redid a Engines of Amtrak on the Railbreakers, aka SDP40F, so you can check that out there. Here we have the Daylight locomotive. This was my more favorite build because I got to do quite a bit with it. Yeah, I really got to get some happiness with it. And I also created the coaches, which you'll see later. Here is the old tutorial for NNW 611, which is one of the locomotives that Hyper saw when he went to Strasbourg a while ago. Well, yeah. Sorry if I sound a little tired. I finished a little bit of a cross-country meet earlier, and I might need a nap when this is over, when the stream's over. Here we have...
Incredible. Incredible.
Yay. Here's the Shanghai Maglev, also a bit of a scrapped build, but yeah. Now we're gonna go by 2 rows. So here we have Amtrak 465 from the Amtrak Cascades. These have been replaced by the Chargers, unfortunately, which I did not build because I'm not the biggest fan of Chargers. Here we have a GP35-20 from Santa Fe, another one of those old builds that uses wool. But here's one of the most interesting builds I've done for Amtrak that's a consist. The coach slash baggage, the bi-level coach cab. And then here is a tombstone for the scrapped P42 DC Phase 3. But yeah, I'm just going to point out there's actually something interesting about the DE30AC slash DM30AC. I made it DE modifications, and there's something interesting about the DE30AC, the R156, and the Class 08, which you'll see later. Do you want to guess why? Louise?
Yeah.
Want to guess why it was one interesting build?
Why?
Because all 3 of these were actually built during Hurricane Ida.
That's not safe. That's not safe. What if it explodes?
The DE30AC doesn't have TNT on it. The R156 does, and it has a redstone torch next to it, but I had the TNT command disabled, so something like that couldn't be done.
Dumb.
Anyways, here's another old Cracked Fox build. 9210 and SD78, and right behind, and
Look at the TNT with like red wool and put like birch signs on it.
I mean, I could also use bricks instead of TNT if I really wanted to. Anyways, right ahead of 9210 is the fastest steam locomotive in the UK, Mallard. a world famous locomotive that's still around to this day, and you can see in York, I believe, in the UK. Ahead of it is actually a fictional locomotive, the one I'm on right now. Now, Crafty got a suggestion to do this build, and it's actually fictional. It's a ATSF, or Santa Fe, Gevo, which I don't know if I pointed out yet, but is not real and was never came up with. Anyways, ahead of it are two very special other locomotives that are both steam: Hogwarts Express and Norfolk and Western 475. Good old Hogwarts meets good old engine from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Yeah, Amtrak Guy 365 also made a video on 475 in the movies, so you can check that out there. Yeah, they actually made a couple modifications. So they put Indian Valley on the side of the tender for 475. They kept their number, but yeah, you can check out Amtrak Guy 365's video. And here you have a old MP15 AC used by CSX, and it's supposed to be the crew center where the crew operated. Here you have the Southern Pacific E7A and B with the daylight coaches right behind it. Nothing in the chat yet for a while, so whenever Mr. Mindblocks gets in here, he is a chatter. Anyways, yeah, there's actually, yeah, the daylight coaches are actually quite interesting, as I just went through the baggage car. Yeah, here's another interesting build. A build I loved doing, the redone version of the P32-8BWH. This will go down as one build that'll stick out more than others, but not in the way that you might think. More on that later. More info on that later. But here we have Union Pacific 1989, aka the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Heritage Unit. This one actually used a special type of block called a polished basalt, or however you pronounce it. I don't really know. Yeah, this build was a fun build to do. And what'd you say, Louise?
It is polished basalt.
Thank you. And ahead of 1989 is a CN unit. It is attached to a Ferromex unit, which is odd because Canadian National doesn't run that far south, / Ferromexico doesn't run that far north. That would have to be in like Kansas for them to even get close to meeting up. And it's right next to it is BNSF 4479, the same locomotive that was involved in the Kismet train collision of 2006, which Thunder did not do a documentary of, but Ryan's Colorado Rail Productions did. Anyways, now let's move on to another famous steam locomotive. The Frisco, aka the Frisco 1522. This locomotive has also been redone, and it's like 4 years after Craig Fox did this one. I think the same person who suggested the old one suggested a redo to be more modern. But yeah, next to it is Emily from Thomas and Friends, which we will cover her a lot more once we get to it. Here we have an AC44's CW, which is one engine on CSX that I see often. If you guys remember, which some of you may, I actually caught this locomotive at a bridge one time early on in my channel's history. And this is a build that I've waited for a while. Right behind it is the old Southern Railway 4501. I just forgot. I don't think 1522 got a rebuild yet by Crafty, but it's okay because we have the old version of 4501. Yeah, all the info I said earlier about 1522 actually applies to 4501. One modification I did add was adding an end rod, because as you can see on 844, she has an end rod in her as a whistle, so I decided to add that little modification to it. And then right behind it we have the three special units. We have the redone Union Pacific 1995, the new 1996, and the new 4501 from Southern Railway. All three of these builds in total took me probably close to about almost 3 weeks, but I still did my best to see what I could do about it. And I like how all three of these builds turned out. And something that's actually quite interesting is that at first I didn't really intend on making 1996 attached to 1995, but when I realized what I did, it was already too late, so I decided, why not couple them up together? So I did. But anyways, that covers all the non-Thomas and Friends characters. Now let's go over them, shall we? Alright, so first off we have Stephenson's rocket replica of it. So this is one of the more semi-recent builds. The DE30AC is a extremely recent build, but I like how the rocket turned out for this build, even though I can't really. But anyways, it's sad that this. I don't know what to say anymore. Moving on, this one is actually not a Crafty Fox build, nor is it a build I did. I don't remember who did this, but shout out to the person who did. I forgot, it's been a long time. Here we have was supposed to be Wooden Railway Thomas. Weirdly enough. Then here we have sort of the old / new versions of characters. Here we have the Old Lady and Old Diesel 10. When we go over to the other server, yes, there is another one, you'll see the redone versions of both Lady and Diesel 10. But anyways, they're supposed to be in this form because this is supposed to be the chase scene, and I actually finished all of these at around, I'd say probably about 2:30 in the morning for New Year's 2021. Because I got Bedrock, full Bedrock, in December of 2020. Yeah, here's good old Toby. He's got his bell. And there's the old Toby right there. A lot has changed between the old Toby and the new Toby. I'm not gonna really get Scruffy. A bit of a very flawed build, as I messed up the axles here, but I don't know why, I just thought it'd be funny to make an Amtrak Guide 365 reference. But anyways, yeah, sort of another messed up build, but that's really about it. Diesel, the devious Diesel. Now this is supposed to be, the original tutorial had him like BR British Rail blue, but I decided to make him blacks to represent Diesel. Instead of just doing a Diesel tutorial, even though he has one. But yeah, I don't know why, I just thought it'd be interesting. And I also built this build around when Ida was still making its way up Louisiana. Here we have the Flying Scotsman and Linear A3. Do not have his second tender, because now he only runs on one tender, and he's been renumbered from 4472 to 61 to like 6163 or something. Let me check. A3. For 472. Yeah, renumbered to 6103. And all images, the image in that, all images during that scene belong to I almost forgot to mention that. Yeah, here is the Flying Scotsman. I think the Unlucky Tug might have done a video on, yeah, the Unlucky Tug did a video on the Scotsman, and it's very eventful history on almost scrapped again, but was saved again. But anyways, we've pretty much Emily. I almost forgot Emily. A locomotive with a giant wheel in the middle. It's really the only thing about Emily. Now let's move on to vehicles. Yeah?
What's this one?
This one right here.
Yeah, what is it?
This is the NSE9 locomotive.
Whoa,
It's a little big.
Josh, look at this. It's really packed in there.
Oh yeah. I don't think passengers are allowed inside the cab though, unless for like a tourist excursion. But anyways, time to get on with the next segment. Vehicles! Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright, so technically the first vehicle I did was the Long Island Railroad High Road truck, but that's technically a truck that can go on the rails. I consider the first true vehicle I did to be the 2017 Aventador. Yeah, little modification. Not really any modifications to it. Kind of built it how it is. And here, this is supposed to be the 2021 FBI SWAT Bearcat G3 armored van. I say 2021 because that's the year Crafty Fox uploaded the tutorial build to this build. Now he's gone on to the fire station madness. Here we have the truck number 4 from Los Angeles. We have some people inside. See, LAFD E4 stay 500 feet away, which is what it should say on the back of most emergency vehicles. Behind it, we have, for some reason, an FDNY battalion chief. Also says 500 feet away. Next to it is an ambulance, so in case someone gets into like a mess or something, I can transport them here. I don't know why he's in there. I don't know why this person. I don't know. I don't remember why I put the person in there, but it's probably for decor. Ah, yes, the FDNY pumper / engine. Yes, you can. Oh, I didn't know you did that.
I did.
And he's continuing on. We also have the tiller. And I know Crafty X made a bit of a joke. And, well, hey guys, he's like, hey guys, it's Crafty Fox, and it is tiller time. Literally, because it was a tiller. He built a tiller. And it is tiller time.
It is, and that is totally funny.
That was a funny joke. Here we have a FDNY ladder.
This is a ladder?
Yep. This is supposed to be a ladder. Remember?
There's in here.
Hmm?
I didn't know villagers were part of the fire department.
Me neither. I guess now they are.
They are now.
Yeah. And right behind the tiller is my favorite part of FDNY, and the main reason I want to go there. I want to visit Rescue 1. I'm actually planning on seeing this unit whenever I decide to go to New York, and maybe meet up with you and Doge sometime. But anyways, there's the FD collection. I don't have anything for any PD. Corrections prisoner bus. And these prisoners are being transported to the proper facility. right behind the scrapped SD40-2, I don't know, for some reason I thought this would be funny, a shopping cart. It's like your generic shopping cart. I don't know, I don't really know why I decided to make a shopping cart. But here we have one of my favorite cars, a Model X, made by Tesla. And then next,
this guy's doing his grocery shopping.
very fun, very funny. And then we have two versions of a Ford F-150. Just one's the normal, one's a bit of a short cab. Ah, yes, the oldest Crafty Fox tutorial ever, the school bus.
My thing.
School buses. And look.
Yeah, like.
Stop. I pull the lever. I open the door. I leave. Alright, here's the new modified bus. This is, and Crafty Fox actually made a bit of a reference to one of his other videos.
Can you like go inside the school bus?
I wish, but that's how Crafty made it. And he's here. Here we have another one of my more favorite builds, a Crosstrek from Subaru. Subaru? Subaru?
Subaru.
I don't know. My mom calls it Subaru.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, here we have a USPS Ram ProMaster van. Technically, it should be over there, but I don't know why. And here we have the Crosstrek. The 28, we have a Hummer H2, which we reviewed on VOG one time. Ah, yes, the AE86 from Initial D. Which is so far, I think, the most popular VOG episode of all time. Crazy. But now we get into the shopping business, as we have Amazon, Target, USPS, FedEx, and USPS again, but with their delivery vans. Amazon and Target have their tractor trailers, while USPS, FedEx, and USPS have their own vehicles. Here we have a flatbed rollback tow truck. So, like, in case your vehicle breaks down, you can tow it on this. I don't know why this was just funny, but I put an ice cream truck next to, in between FedEx and UPS. I don't really know why. Anyways, here we have Amtrak Police, which is in the form of a Chevy Tahoe. Yeah, I'm starting to lag a little bit now, probably because of all the amount of foxes here.
Ice cream truck?
Yes, ice cream. Sadly, I wish you could get ice cream, though. But yeah, I think this may actually be it. We're at about just over an hour now. But yeah, everything that you see here should be covered. So let's switch over to the other world and show you the Thomas & Friends collection.
disconnected.
Yeah, I moved into a different world.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I created this. You have joined the game. The game.
The super flat world.
Yeah, this. Yeah, I actually made this a flat world compared to.
Wasn't the original world flat?
I wasn't really thinking when I made the. I wasn't really thinking when I made the original world, but I thought of when I made this one. There you are. Yee! You're here. This is sort of the island of Sodor a little bit. Yeah, watch out. There's bees in there. Did you die?
No. I didn't die. This is a cool hot tub.
Pretty cool. Yeah, here we have the bees. I wish I could make that joke, but nah, whatever. Here we have some of the Scaroli engines. Scaroli, Reneus, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, Rusty, Duncan, Duke, Smudger. Now, I actually made a little bit of a joke for Duncan. Do you want me to read it? Louise?
What?
Do you want me to read the note that's on Duncan? Or do you...
Sure.
Alright. Duncan, the Rick and Roller. Pop, you just got Rickrolled.
That doesn't. I don't
Ooh, boo.
know. You see, a Rickle goes like. It's not even a song. Everything's supposed
Alright, I think that's enough.
We're no strangers to love.
It did.
I
think that's enough.
For so long. I immediately forgot the lyrics.
It's okay, because we got more builds to cover. Aryan
Yeah.
Birds. Aryan
Then-
Birds. They didn't. Kaiji Fox doesn't have splatter and dodge yet, so I decided to go for a diesel for this.
0.75. We can stream that then.
Alright. Yeah, here I have the original setup from Magic Railroad. I made Lady's face way too white, way too big. Face is bigger than her body.
So then we have the flags.
Yeah, you have like mini versions of the flags. I have the old Thomas and the old Diesel 10.
Not like most of them. Like the only ones that I like are Russia, Germany, and like I forgot what flag this one is.
Alright, let me go see after my long journey. This one.
Like Norway, like Norway and Sweden, I don't like it that much, and I feel like it's just a little bit off.
Yeah, maybe.
And U.S., I feel like I just don't know. I just don't like how it looks that much.
I think it's like a mini. I'd say it's like a mini version of.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. It's just a little bit too small.
And here we have the 1.5 to 1 scale of Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle right behind him. And then here we have the two famous engines on Sodor. Edward and Gordon.
Gordon Freeman?
No, Gordon the Express
What's
engine.
up, can a Jeep? Can the Jeep hop into your crib?
Anyways, I was gonna do Henry, but he's being saved for a different day. And I almost forgot James. The engine that really cares for his shiny red paint. And here we have Birdie and Bulgy.
Who's this guy? Is this Thomas? Yeah, I think this is Thomas.
Yeah, that's Thomas. And we have...
This guy on him.
I'll get to that in a second. Here we have the new... Here we have the new Toby. And then followed by the old Bill and Ben. He has a new tutorial on Bill and Ben. And then Lady, Thomas, and the revamped Diesel 10. You can see how much more advanced this Diesel 10 is compared to the other one.
Yeah, and Thomas looks like he's actually alive.
He's like, ah! And there's actually a set of builds in here that are actually based on, not Crafty Fox's builds, but Mr. Mindblock's builds, which include both sets of...
Put the sign here. See what it says.
I did. President Obama moment.
Yes, it is.
It is a true President Obama moment. And here we have the question buffers number 2, the question buffers number 1, and Sodor buffers from Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Was Thomas and the Magic Railroad good?
It unfortunately bombed in the box office, but 20 years later they did release another version of the movie with some of the features that the original movie didn't come with. But next up we have the regular brake van, and then we have 3 villains that I'm kind of proud of: Toad, Oliver, and Diesel.
Toad?
Yeah, Toad the brake van. I know it's a bit of a weird name, but I didn't come up with the name of the character.
I probably would name it like Jeff or something.
And here we have Percy, who's also cheeky, just like Thomas. But those two are really good friends. And he's right behind Percy, literally, is Duck, the Great Western Engine.
Who's number 4?
Gordon. But anyways,
He must be the villager man.
is right next to Oliver are the 2 tender engine twins, Donald and Douglas. I was originally only going to do one and just have both of their numbers, but I thought, nah, not really. So I guess Douglas, you could say, was the last build I did before doing the stream, and I completed about 3 weeks ago, and I've been saving it for the stream. But anyways, yeah, and we have one more build to cover, Emily. Just like in the last world, she's similar, but yet different. She still has the big wheel in the middle with the little, like, curve up. But there's still quite a few changes to her that I'm not really going to go over. But that's it for the Thomas and Friends world. So out of all the builds so far today, Louise, what do you think you would say is your favorite?
Playboy.
Alright. For me, in the old world...
Come look at it. Like, for real, come look at him.
He's just a villager pond.
Yeah, that's why I'm choosing him. Now to add more villagers.
Anyways, in terms of old world, I'd say 3194 because it was the hardest that I managed to do. But for this world, I would have to say probably the revamped Diesel 10 because that one used a little bit of world edit on it, but I still liked how it turned out. But anyways, we are at about the probably somewhere around the 1 hour 21 minute mark. So
It's been that long?
yeah, I was expecting the video to be like over 3 hours long. Stream, I'd say. Anyways, that's all. Yeah, that's all for this world. Let me check back. Stream one more time. Oh hey Aaron. Yeah, may those victims rest in peace. But anyways, we have been recording for about 1 hour and 23 minutes now. So I think now is about time to wrap up the stream. And I hope you all